Okay, how we doing, folks? Rich Van Tassel. I know it's late. Just game one final a couple minutes ago. Utah taking the 3-2 series lead with a game five victory on the road, 96-92. What's fascinating about the 96-92 score is that's relatively low scoring, and the Clippers scored 34. The Jazz scored 32 in the fourth just to get it that high. Gordon Hayward back from the food poisoning, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 9 of 16 shooting, 4 of 8 from behind the arc. Very good. George Hill, I thought, was very good in this game, though he only shot 3 for 12. He played some tight defense on Chris Paul, also hit big free throws down the stretch. To ice it, went 5 of 5. Rudy Gobert back in the mix, 11 points, 11 rebounds, 5 steals, 2 blocks. That's why he's my choice for Defensive Player of the Year. But again, the big story, the bench, Rodney Hood, 6 of 17, 4 of 10, shooting threes, made a couple big ones in the fourth. And Joe Johnson, again, 14 points, 6 of 14 shooting, just below the 50% mark, but 14 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Made some big shots. He made one that really iced it before it became a foul shooting game where George Hill knocked down the free throws to put it away. Joe Johnson was only +1. None of the guys were really high in plus minus as you would expect from a 4-point game, but no one, it's all within 7 to -1. So that's a little surprising in that regard for Utah. When you look at the Clippers, Ma Bute in the starting lineup -10, Maurice Spates -10. So they have not been able to find the replacement for DeAndre Jordan to come on. 1 of 8 between the two, 7 points for Ma Bute. 1 point for Mo Spates. They put Paul Pierce in the game. He had 6 points, was +6, 3 rebounds, 2 of 4 shooting. I'm really surprised that Brandon Bass could not get in the lineup. I don't know if he's hurt or what the deal is. Wesley Johnson didn't give them anything. So, you got to wonder. You need something. It was really the backcourt for the Clippers. 28 points for Chris Paul, 10 of 19 shooting, 4 of 6. He had a stretch that got the Clippers back into the game. I think he scored 9 points on his own. J.J. Redick was playing well. DeAndre Jordan, 14 points, 12 rebounds. But again, he's not a guy who's going to necessarily find his offense on his own. So the Clipper, frankly, with or without Blake Griffin, whether they win or lose, Mo Spates and Luke Ma Bute, they're not great players, but they're better than this. And they've got to be able to pick up the slack in that regard. And you got to be able to find answers for Joe Johnson down the stretch. I mean, if these guys can't be in the game, Ma Bute, a tall, athletic guy, Spates, more of a rebounder. He's a legit center, but I still think he can move his feet. But not a guy you put on Joe Johnson. Or Brandon Bass, excuse me, he did get minutes, had 2 points, so I just noticed that. Jamal Crawford, not the defender. Austin Rivers played 18 minutes. They made note of it during the game. He was gassed, just coming back. You got to be able to find him in situations to mark up Joe Johnson. They've got to do something about that scenario. But Utah heads back home with a chance to close it out. All right, tomorrow, interesting setup. You got Atlanta and Washington in Game 5 starting at 6. It's really early. And then Chicago and Boston starting at 8:30. I think you might be able to extend that game's in Boston, not in Chicago. So that's still a late start, with the way they're scheduling it, whatever. I'm not even going to get into that. But be sure to stay tuned for those recaps tomorrow. Remember, we appreciate all subscriptions as well. We'll see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your night or now morning. Take it easy.